Nature is supposed to perfect its creatures, but sometimes evolution screws up. Big time. These animals shouldn't even be in the script of creation, yet here they are, walking, slithering, and stalking their prey with weapons so deadly they feel like glitches in evolution itself. From birds that can disembowel you in a single strike to ancient sea monsters still lurking in the depths, these creatures are not just dangerous, they defy logic. They were never meant to exist, yet somehow they do. What went wrong? How did nature allow these biological nightmares to roam free? These are the deadliest mistakes in evolution. Animals so terrifying you'll wonder how nature ever let them happen. If you're swimming in the waters of the Amazon and suddenly feel your body go rigid, don't panic. You've just encountered one of evolution's most terrifying mistakes, the electric eel. At first glance, it looks like a simple fish, but lurking beneath its sleek, unassuming appearance is a living weapon capable of delivering a shock that would make even a lightning bolt jealous. 600 volts. That's the voltage this creature can send coursing through the water, and it's enough to send anyone, be it a curious human or an unsuspecting fish, into an instant paralytic state. In nature, there's no second chance with this predator. Once its prey is stunned, it moves in with terrifying precision, finishing the job with ease. The eel doesn't just use electricity for hunting. It's a multi-purpose tool in its arsenal, for defense, for navigation, and for controlling its environment. But here's the real nightmare. When you're struck by the electric eel, it's not just the shock that gets you. No, it's the buildup. The eel can zap over and over, leaving you helpless in the water, unable to move, and at the mercy of its constant electrical barrage. Imagine feeling the full power of a taser, but with no escape in sight. That's the essence of encountering the electric eel. Nature has a way of creating some pretty insane creatures, but when it comes to this shocking predator, it seems evolution took things to a level we were never meant to encounter. Some creatures look like they crawled out of prehistoric nightmares, and the giant isopod is one of them. This deep-sea monstrosity is basically an overgrown cockroach of the abyss, lurking in the pitch-black trenches where no light dares to reach. Evolution decided that scavengers should exist, but this thing took it too far. It feeds on the dead, the rotting, and whatever horrors the ocean floor has to offer. And when food is scarce, it can survive for years without eating. Oh, and if you think it's slow and harmless, try dropping fresh meat near one. It turns into a frenzy of armored limbs and crushing mouth parts, stripping flesh in minutes. This is what happens when nature forgets to set limits. A creature too resilient, too relentless, and too disturbing to exist. Meet the Tasmanian devil, a creature so aggressive, even its own species can't stand it. Evolution crafted a compact, muscular carnivore with one of the strongest bite forces relative to body size, able to crush bones like they're crackers. But the real nightmare? Its voice. When it fights, it unleashes blood-curdling screams that sound like something straight from hell. That's not just a warning, it's a promise. Devils fight over food, over territory, or simply because they feel like it. And when they bite, they don't let go. As if nature wasn't cruel enough, these creatures suffer from a highly contagious cancer, spreading their own doom with every battle scar and bite. Evolution pushed them to be the perfect little killing machines, but in the end it might have doomed them in the process. If nature had a glitch, this would be it. The star-nosed mole looks like an experiment gone wrong, its face replaced with 22 writhing, fleshy tendrils that make it one of the weirdest creatures to ever exist. But don't let its nightmarish appearance fool you. This freak of evolution is the fastest eater on the planet. It can identify, grab, and swallow its prey in just a quarter of a second. That's faster than your brain can even process what just happened. Those creepy, tentacle-like appendages? They're supercharged sensors, packed with over 100,000 nerve endings, making it the most sensitive touch organ in the animal kingdom. It doesn't see with eyes. It feels its world at lightning speed, making the darkness of underground tunnels its personal hunting ground. A creature so strange, so hyper-evolved, that it feels like something from an alien horror movie. Nature built it for speed, efficiency, and survival. But in doing so, It turned this tiny mole into one of evolution's most terrifying oddities. Some animals look dangerous, others pretend to be. But the blue-ringed octopus, it warns you, and then it kills you. This tiny golf ball-sized cephalopod is one of the most venomous creatures in the ocean. Its skin is covered in vibrant blue rings, a final warning before it strikes. And if you ignore it, you're already dead. Its venom contains tetrodotoxin, a neurotoxin 1,200 times more potent than cyanide. A single bite delivers enough poison to kill 26 adult humans within minutes. Worse, it's completely painless at first. Victims feel nothing as their muscles shut down, their lungs freeze, and their body becomes a prison, trapped in paralysis. There's no antidote, no second chances. One mistake, one step too close, and this tiny ocean phantom becomes your executioner. Evolution made it small, but in doing so, it turned it into one of the deadliest mistakes lurking in the deep. Most crabs are small, harmless, and easily crushed underfoot. But the coconut crab? It's the size of a dog, climbs trees like a predator, and has claws that can snap bones. Growing over 3 feet wide and weighing nearly 10 pounds, this is the largest land-dwelling arthropod on the planet. And unlike its ocean-bound relatives, this beast hunts on land. It's strong enough to rip apart coconuts with its claws, but it doesn't stop there. Birds, rats, even small mammals, nothing is safe. But what makes this crab an evolutionary horror? Its claws generate a crushing force of over 700 pounds, stronger than the bite of most predators. A human finger? Gone in an instant. Imagine walking through an island at night, and you hear rustling above. You look up, and see this monster climbing down toward you. Evolution gave it the power of a tank, but left it with the cold, instinctive hunger of a scavenger. A mistake? Maybe. But one you wouldn't want to meet in the dark. In the world of scorpions, one reigns as the undisputed nightmare, the Deathstalker scorpion. This creature isn't just deadly, it's one of the most venomous scorpions on the planet. Evolution cranked up the lethality dial and left us with an 8-legged assassin that shouldn't exist. Small, fast, and almost translucent, the Deathstalker hides perfectly in deserts and rocky terrains. But one sting? Pure agony. Its venom is a neurotoxic cocktail so potent, it can send humans into paralysis, seizures, and even death. In fact, a single sting can be fatal to children and the elderly. And here's the worst part. There's no guaranteed antidote. This scorpion isn't just another creepy crawly. It's a biological weapon wrapped in an armored exoskeleton. If you ever see one, take only one piece of advice. Don't blink, don't move, and definitely don't get stung. If evolution ever designed a creature straight out of a horror movie, it's the lamprey. No bones, no jaw, just a gaping circular mouth filled with rows of razor-sharp teeth. This thing doesn't bite. It latches on, drills into flesh, and feeds on blood like a real-life vampire. Unlike most fish, the lamprey never evolved to chew or swallow. Instead, it sucks the life out of its victims like some Lovecraftian terror. Its tongue acts like a file, grinding away skin and muscle until it reaches the bloodstream. Once attached, it's almost impossible to shake off. Fish that fall victim to lampreys are often left with gaping, festering wounds, or worse, drained dry. But here's the real nightmare. Lampreys don't just stick to fish. There have been cases of them attaching to humans who made the mistake of swimming in the wrong waters. You might not feel it at first, but by the time you realize what's happening, it's already locked on. Nature had no reason to make this thing, yet here it is. A parasitic, bloodthirsty monster that has barely changed for over 360 million years. And with no natural predators, it's not going anywhere. Imagine being shot, not with a gun, but with the most agonizing sting nature ever devised. That's exactly what happens when you cross paths with the bullet ant. a tiny insect with pain levels so excruciating it earned the #1 spot on the Schmidt Pain Index. Its sting? Pure agony. Victims describe it as walking over flaming charcoal with nails driven into their feet. And unlike most insect stings, which fade in minutes, this one lasts for a full 24 hours. That's why locals call it the 24-hour ant. There's no cure, no numbing agent, just pure, relentless suffering. But why would evolution create something so merciless? Unlike bees, bullet ants don't sting to kill. They sting to punish. Step too close to their nest, and they'll make sure you never forget your mistake. Even predators that survive an encounter learn never to mess with them again. And if you think one sting is bad, some Amazonian tribes force young warriors to endure dozens at once as a coming-of-age ritual. The result? Hallucinations, convulsions, and hours of pure torment. Nature really went too far with this one. If nightmares had a mascot, the shoebill stork would be a top contender. Standing 6 feet tall with a massive razor-edged beak, this prehistoric-looking bird looks like it walks straight out of the Jurassic era, and acts like it too. This isn't your typical birdwatcher's delight. The shoebill hunts like a horror movie villain, standing eerily still for hours, staring with its cold, unblinking eyes before striking with terrifying speed. And when it catches prey, whether it's a fish, a baby crocodile, or even a small antelope, it doesn't just eat it. It crushes it to death with its beak, shaking it violently to break its bones before swallowing it whole. And if that wasn't creepy enough, this bird claps its beak together to make a loud machine gun-like sound, almost like it's taunting its next victim. Imagine being alone in a swamp and hearing that ominous clicking in the distance. You'd swear something unnatural was watching you. Evolution clearly left something unfinished with the shoebill. It doesn't belong in the modern world. It belongs in a time when giant monsters ruled the earth. And honestly, maybe it should have stayed there. If nature wanted to create the ultimate snake, it would be the inland taipan, and unfortunately, it did. This reptile isn't just venomous. It holds the title for the most venomous snake on the planet. And when I say venomous, I mean one bite can kill 100 grown men. But here's the real nightmare. It doesn't even need to bite you multiple times. Just one precise strike, and the venom immediately shuts down your nervous system, melts your muscles, and clots your blood so fast your organs fail. If you get bitten and don't get anti-venom in time, you won't just die, you'll suffer while doing it. Strangely enough, evolution made this insanely deadly creature shy. It slithers through the remote deserts of Australia, avoiding humans whenever possible. But if cornered, it doesn't hesitate to strike. Fast, accurate, and lethal. With venom that strong, the inland taipan feels like a mistake of evolution, too dangerous for its own good. It's almost as if nature designed a superweapon, then thought, maybe I went too far, and hid it in the middle of nowhere. Camouflaged to perfection, the stonefish lurks just beneath the ocean floor, waiting, not to hunt, but to punish anything that dares step too close. No warning, no aggressive display, just instant, unbearable agony. Armed with 13 venomous spines, this fish delivers a neurotoxic nightmare so intense that victims have described it as feeling like their limb is being set on fire from the inside. Some even beg for amputation just to escape the pain. But pain isn't the only problem. Without quick treatment, the venom can paralyze, stop the heart, or lead to flesh decay. And because the stonefish blends in so perfectly, it remains one of the most dangerous creatures in the ocean. Not because it attacks, but because you never see it coming. Imagine swimming in crystal clear waters feeling weightless, free. Then suddenly, an invisible assassin wraps its venomous tentacles around you. No warning, no escape, just searing pain and a race against death. The box jellyfish isn't just deadly. It's one of the most venomous creatures on Earth. Its sting attacks the heart, nervous system, and skin all at once, often causing victims to collapse before they even reach the shore. And the worst part? You might never even see it coming. With its nearly transparent body, it drifts through the water like a ghost, waiting for its next victim. Some call it nature's cruelest mistake, because something this lethal should at least be visible. This isn't just any spider. It's a venomous nightmare on legs. Unlike most spiders that build webs and wait, the Brazilian wandering spider actively hunts down its prey. And if you cross its path, you might not live to regret it. Its venom is one of the most potent neurotoxins in the world, shutting down muscles and paralyzing victims with excruciating pain. In extreme cases, it causes total respiratory failure. Oh, and for men? Let's just say it delivers a side effect so disturbing that it's been studied as a possible treatment for certain dysfunctions. To make things worse, this spider doesn't stay in the jungle. It's been found lurking in homes, cars, even hiding in bananas shipped across the world. Evolution gave it legs to roam, venom to kill, and the audacity to go wherever it pleases. Some mistakes, nature refuses to correct. A living nightmare. The Komodo dragon is a prehistoric predator that never left. At nearly 10 feet long and 300 pounds, it dominates its island habitat with a hunting style that feels more like a slow, inevitable death sentence. A single bite is all it takes. Its saliva, a toxic mix of bacteria and venom, sends its victim into septic shock. The dragon doesn't rush the kill. It follows from a distance, waiting as its prey weakens, collapses, and succumbs to the infection. Even humans have fallen victim. Attacks on people have been recorded, with dragons even dragging victims from their homes. A beast that nature somehow allowed to survive, proving that sometimes evolution favors the monsters. If evolution had a dark sense of humor, the kangaroo would be its cruelest punchline. This tiny, nearly transparent catfish is barely a few inches long, yet it has earned a legendary status as one of the most feared creatures in the Amazon River. Why? Because it doesn't just prey on fish. It's been accused of targeting humans. The kangaroo is a parasitic horror that invades the gills of larger fish, using its backward-facing spines to anchor itself and feast on blood. But the real nightmare? Tales of it following urine streams into a human's most sensitive areas, and once it's in, surgical removal is the only option. Though some reports are debated, one thing is clear. This fish embodies nature's most twisted mistakes. A parasite so small you don't see it coming, but once it latches on, escape is nearly impossible. If that's not a reason to fear the waters of the Amazon, nothing is.